I'm in chapter 2 of Solzhenitsyn's The Gulag Archipelago. We're talking about a chapter called The History of Our Sewage Disposal System. And Solzhenitsyn is describing how people get targeted for arrest by the group that he calls the organs. And the organs here are the organs of the Soviet state. Now, it's worth noting here that in Soviet times, the police state was entirely run in a centralized fashion. The economy was directed by the government. The government owned, in a sense, everything. The media was an extension of the government. And this is a little different from the police state that we are seeing emerging in the United States. Our police state is a hybrid. It's an octopus. Part of it is a deep state, but I don't like that term very much because it's a little misleading. When people say the deep state, they mean people who are like behind closed doors, making decisions in secret. And this can sometimes give rise to unnecessary conspiracy theories because a lot of the police state is out in the open. I mean, hey, all you have to do is go to the Google, YouTube guidelines, and it tells you right there that if you do these things, you will be censored. You will be deplatformed. Your channel may be shut down. If you go against them, not just on COVID, not just on election fraud, but on abortion, on climate change, on the trans, there's a whole bunch of issues. So this is the approved vocabulary, and if you deviate from it, then you are a bad guy and we need to go after you. But all of this, is, like I say, is out in the open. Media indoctrination, educational indoctrination, a lot of that is out in the open and it's in the private sector. It might be done in sync with, in coordination with government, but it has a sort of independent status. Now, Solzhenitsyn in this chapter is talking about how people get targeted right and left, and they're not targeted as individuals. This is what's important to realize, that the government is going after people sometimes merely because they belong to a group, and the government doesn't approve of the group. Look at how he deals with this. Here's Solzhenitsyn. He goes, tens of thousands of people, not personally accused of anything, peaceful citizens, not even listed by name, who were taken off and destroyed simply to terrorize or wreak vengeance on a military enemy or a rebellious population. The action was in fact explained openly in the newspaper Red Terror. Believe it or not, the terror was not even seen as a bad word. Red Terror is the name of the newspaper. November 1, 1918. And here is Solzhenitsyn now quoting from this newspaper. "We are not fighting against single individuals. We are exterminating the bourgeoisie as a class." So pay careful attention. We're not going after you because you're Brian or John or Debbie. We're going after you because you belong to a group. We hate the group. It is not necessary during the interrogation to look for evidence proving that the accused opposed the Soviets by word or action. The first question you should ask him is what class he belongs to. What is his origin, his education, and his profession? These are the questions which will determine the fate of the accused. Now, I got to say that even after reading these lines now, probably for the third time, they give you a little bit of a chill because they show the degree to which ideology can create villains out of thin air. This person has done nothing wrong. You have no objection to them. They haven't even taken a stance against the regime, but they are a member of the academic class, or they are teachers, and right now we're against the teachers, or that this guy is related to the landowner class or the merchant class. And so that's it. That's enough. That's all you need to know. So the interrogation takes a very odd form. It's not, what did you do? What were you thinking? What made you take this action or that action? It's just simply, what is your name? What is your profession? What is the name of your family? What group can we assign you to? And once you have been assigned to a disapproved group, and it could be the Russian Orthodox Church, it could be you are a member of the so-called kulaks. Who are the kulaks? They're the independent peasants that have been targeted for relocation, and if they refuse to do it, it's kind of like what happened with the American Indians. We're going to relocate you, and if you don't agree, we're going to destroy you. So similarly here, this is Stalin to the peasants. We're going to move you to this part of Siberia. You don't want to go? Okay, that's fine. We're going to kill you. So are you a member of the kulaks? That's it. Okay, that's all we, interrogation over. We've now determined what box to place you in, and off you go, typically board a train, and you are now off to the Gulag. And says Solzhenitsyn, in 1918, starting in 1918, by the spring of 1918, a torrent of socialist traitors had already begun that was to continue without slackening for many years. This alone is worth reflecting on for a moment, because all police states ultimately turn on themselves. So in the beginning, it's like, okay, we are the socialists. We're fighting against the bourgeoisie. They're the enemy. We're the good guys. And no, the moment that you got rid of the bourgeoisie, suddenly it's like, oh, well, we're the socialists, but not all socialists are the same. This is a socialist who's trying to usurp power. That guy just said something that's out of line with what we just said yesterday in the Socialist Party newspaper. So he's not really a socialist, or he is a socialist, but the wrong type of socialist. We need to arrest him. So this is a message ultimately to people right now in America on the left who think, well, I don't have to worry about a police state. It's never going to come for me. I'm never going to get censored. The FBI is never going to come to my door. And my answer is, yeah, that may be true now while you're helping to build the police state. But eventually, just you wait and see. Vladimir Putin calls the US dollar's drop in dominance objective and irreversible, as Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa formally agreed to use local currencies in trade instead of the US dollar. It's the first shoe to fall. Now, as demand for the dollar weakens, the buying power of the dollar weakens. This is why Birch Gold Group is busier than ever. Investors and savers like me are looking to harness the power of physical gold held in a tax-sheltered IRA. Debbie and I buy gold from Birch Gold. We trust them to help us diversify and protect our savings. Text Dinesh to 989898. Get a free information kit on gold. It's just information, no obligation. With thousands of happy customers, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews, you can count on Birch Gold to help you navigate transitioning an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. As the US dollar continues to receive pressure from foreign countries, digital currency, central banks, arm yourself with information on how to protect your savings. Text Dinesh to 989898. Get your free information kit now.